Today I took on a service call. We're here to fix this lady's dryer. It is a Bravos XL Maytag commercial technology. These are made right here in the USA, digital, but I will let you know from the get-go that what we're going to be fixing here today is a universal problem with these types of dryers, which is this big squealing sound right here. Usually there's a few things that could be wrong with this. Most of the time, I'd say 95% of the time, it's going to be your idlers, pulleys, things like that. In this situation, we're going to come over and take it apart, and we're going to see if we can lube up the pulleys and all that sort of stuff without having to spend any money. So let's get into this, get this thing pulled out and start taking it apart and show you how to do it. First, let's go ahead and detach our hose and unplug your 220 for sure. This is not like old dryers, so you can't just push back on the top or pop it or anything like that. You got to come around here to the back side of it, and you're going to start taking apart some of these fasteners. This one right here is one panel that's right in directly behind your control board right there, and this is going to be your secondary panel that needs to come off. Do a 1/4 inch drop socket and ratchet or a bit set up, impact, something like that, and start taking these all loose. And whenever you get your first plate removed, if you look back inside here, this is a new machine. You should have manual right here. This is up your service your dryer. We're going to go ahead and take these two fasteners out and go ahead and pull this other plate off. As you can tell, the lid part is right here. It comes down. You got this fastener here. And this one here, that's what helps hold it down on the back. On the front, you got two clips that locks into the frame. So you go ahead and take both of these off. Now usually once those are loose, you can stick your fingers under here, pull it from the back side, and it'll pop it loose. Now here's the front side. As you can tell, I've already got this thing nice and loose. It's pushed back away from its clip. I'm just going to mention this because some people will do it. I know they will. You can unplug this entire harness and pull the whole top piece off of here, but I don't recommend it. They did not design these to where you can pick them up and they will hold up on their own. You can no longer do that anymore. So whenever you pull this thing loose, it is entirely loose. Push the lid to the back side of it. That way you can access the front side of it right here. You can just let it rest right here for the moment. Now if you look right here on each side of the dryer, this part is basically going to be your framework that holds the left and the right side together along with the front. So the fasteners you're going to need to take off these Torx right here and here on each side. Also some all the way across the main bottom. If you come inside of your door right here and look, you're going to have these 3 Torx fasteners here. You got these 2 Phillips right here, and these 2 Phillips is going to go to your lint trap assembly. You shouldn't have to worry about anything falling apart on this once you unscrew all that stuff, because you got these little tabs right here on each side that's going to continuously hold this front piece up against it. I like starting by taking apart the lint trap first and going ahead and getting it out of the way. Typically like starting on the bottom, and as you can see, I got the 1/4 inch hex here, so we're going to put our nut grabber on here. Go ahead and start loosening these up all the way across the bottom. 4 of them all together. For the top fasteners here, you need a T20 Torx bit. But all that's loosened up, you need to reach inside of here and go ahead and unplug this wiring harness. The tabs on these should be right here, so pull back on it, pry up, and pop it right loose. And we'll go ahead and unscrew the final 3 fasteners right here. Now once you get to that point, there's no prying needed because those little lips right there should hold this thing in place. So all you got to do is reach down here, grab this, and pull up. And once you pull up, it releases it off the top of those lips. And you're ready to pull the front cover off here. And set it off to the side somewhere so you know that the front is not going to fall, your glass is not going to bust. Now you have access to the front portion of your dryer. And while we're sitting down here with the front plate off and all that, we're going to reach in here and spin the tub so you can easily hear the squealing sound that we're looking for. Alright, right here's all of your exhaust set up on the left hand side, so I'm going to stick the phone through the hole right here on the right hand side so you can see everything we're looking at. Right over there in behind that exhaust is going to be your motor and your pulley assembly. As you can see right there, it's got the spring for tension, your belt goes around it, and at the back of the tub you are going to have rollers. And those rollers also have the potential for causing this sound, as you see right there, the one in the main back. Those are your support rollers, help support and stabilize the basket itself as it turns around. For us to get to those pulleys, we got to disassemble all this exhaust, pull the tub out, all that good stuff. You're looking at this from top to bottom here. You can see that there's fasteners here for the 1/4 inch. You can see where this housing here is attached right there. There's 2 screws in behind it here that you can take loose from the inside, but we shouldn't have to do that because we got to take this apart anyway, so we're going to pull that one, all these fasteners on this housing here off. Let's start zipping these 1/4 inch off here. Now we just gotta loosen it a little bit at a time, let it drop down there. And then you can remove this section right here. All right, now once we got all that stuff off here, we're gonna go over here and unplug this wiring harness right here. Pull up here to the top and unplug this wiring harness right here. Now on these, you just pull back on these little tabs right here. This Right there you go. Just make sure you put these things back together the correct way whenever you're reassembling everything, because you will need those. You come up top here and you find this little wiring harness right here. It's designed where you push down on it. So you push down and then you can pull it right out with one hand. For the most part, this should all be the same on relatively most of the dryers out there that people are using. So the easiest way to do this, once you got all those things disassembled, is come over here to these little 1/4 inch fasteners on each side and go ahead and loosen them all up. And once you've done that, it basically loosens up this whole framework right here that goes to the sides of your dryer. So this right here, this white section basically keeps everything in line exactly where it's supposed to be at whenever it comes to your dry basket. So now we're going to go ahead and start separating this section from the basket itself. And right now at this moment in time, once you take those little fasteners out right there, it's going to set it down on top of this exhaust fan assembly. So it might feel tight to you, but what you got to do is watch how you grab it. Don't grab it in any plastic or anything. You know, grab it in a good steady section, because this is really thin steel. You don't want to bend it or warp it. Over here and just kind of lift up on it. As you can see there, pulling the pressure off of that. You lift up on both sides and then you start gently pulling it out. Because once you verify that the bottom section is loose, you're going to come up to the top and pull up on it. Because right here, you got these two little hooks. I'll show you on this right side here. As you can see inside there, that just kind of sets down inside sidewall of your dryers. If you're assembling this, you just pick it up, set it in there, drop it down, and it locks it into place. You put your fasteners in, it's all locked down. Whenever you're ready, you come up here to the top side. Like I said, I got the bottom side. Make sure it's nice and loose. Everything's ready to roll. All I got to do is come up here and lift up on this section to unlock it there. See here, I'm going to gradually lift up on it, and I'm going to pull it out, and I'm just going to kind of set it down here. That way it's resting right there on top of that exhaust fan. Do the exact same thing on this side, and just let it sit down there. Now everything is nice and loose. I simply reach over here, grab it from the top side, just gently pull it out. Make sure everything has some clearance, that you're not going to yank on nothing, because you don't want to bend or damage anything. Now there is a roller right here on the bottom where that fastener is, so there might be some times that you get hung up there. If that's the case, you simply reach up here, push up on the tub, and then pull out on the bottom to get it unstuck. Once you get that wheel out of the way, it comes right off here. Now you've successfully pulled apart the basket support assembly. Here's what the back half of this looks like. Right there is your 3 rollers that's on the front half of the dryer. Your basket's going to sit right on top of those whenever it's spinning around in circles. Sometimes the bearing inside of those will go bad. Have to clean them out, take that lint away from them. It's a little bit rusty. There's lint crammed all around, so it's not going to hurt to take those apart and clean them up. They do make kits for these, but today's purpose of this video, we're taking this thing apart. We're going to clean it up, lube it up, and see if there's any damage. Try to save this lady some money. Now we're going to have to prepare to move the basket itself outside of the housing. But remember, you do got some rollers on the back side of this. You're going to have to lift it up to do that, but you've also got a belt running around the side of this, so you need to reach inside there, pull the tensioner down, and release the belt. As you can imagine, I cannot show you all the really good angle on this, but right here is a look at the inside of the dryer, looking toward where I'm at right now at the front. We see that the belt's running around the motor's pulley right there. It comes up over top of this idler pulley. Goes from that idler pulley up and around the basket on the tub itself. I want to show you all exactly where it goes to. This is the best way I can get to it. Whenever you're putting this back together, you're going to need to know how it goes on. I wanted you all to see what it looked like from that side of the dryer itself. We're back up front here. You can clearly see I'm laying down in the floor. My hand's on the right side, which you all got the vantage point from. All you got to do is bring your hand in here where you can get to it by going right around where the exhaust motor is. All you got to do once you got into this position here, you reach over through here and grab a hold of this idler, then pull it to your left. Once you pull it to the left, it's pulling that spring upwards, relieving tension from that belt. Same concept whenever you put it on. Whenever you put it on, you're going to want to wrap the belt back around the tub, wrap it around the bottom half of your motor, which is right here. Pull tension back on this pulley, put tension back on it. In this situation, like I said, all you got to do here is grab it. Once you pull it up, you can take a finger and slide it right off there. You relieve tension off that pulley. Right here you go. Clearly see that I'm spinning that pulley. Now, most of the time, this pulley right here is going to be your culprit. That might cost you about $11 to $25, somewhere in that range, depending on where you ordered at. Now that this is off here, we verified our belt's loose. Now we can pull the tub out. Reach inside here clearly. Pull it straight out. See the belt on the top side of it. Slide that belt off. Here you go. At this point, you've successfully disassembled the basket on your dryer, and you got complete access to everything you need to have access to. Here is your idler pulley. You can see it real good. There's your other 2 rollers. Clearly see where you will have lint build up inside your dryer. This exhaust fan is not 100% sealed. It's just going to basically suck out the majority of the lint from your dryer. Your lint trap gets a little bit clogged up, and you're going to have this mess right here. You see right there, that big pile of lint's been sitting there getting hot. Look down inside here. That's where your heating element is. There's definitely some lint in there that has been burned. It's a potential problem. This is why you need to take apart your dryers, and you need to service them from time to time, even if you don't think they need service because they look good on the outside. One of those situations, you might look good on the outside, but if you don't take care of yourself on the inside, you're going to have trouble. But right here's your access point to everything you need to work on in your dryer. I'm going to take all these off, clean them anyway, but I want to see who the culprit is. Not those. Big, nice rubber wheels. Guarantee it's that one. See if we can make it squeal. Oh, yeah. It's got to be that one. Just what I thought. That is their little culprit right there. Like I said, you can buy these. They're pretty cheap. For the time being, we're going to pull it off here, give it a look, give the lady the option of ordering one. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and clean all this up, get all this lint cleaned out, get it nice and new looking for, and then we will come back, disassemble this. We're dealing with these little triangles right here. They are plastic, and if you try to pop them off there and break them, well, then you might be hurting. The good thing is you can get alternative things to put on these by going to Harbor Freight. They got several different options that will fit these little shafts right here, but it's best if you don't break the plastic retaining rings right here, but they are rectangular, so they are a little bit of a problem. You can see right here, I did get this one off, and a lot of people use picks. You can try picks, but I like tweezers because these things are just a little bit thinner. Basically, the way this works, you got a triangle shape right here with these little tabs on it. You take it, you put it over top of the shaft right there, and you'll push one end over and then the other, and it'll pop it into place, hold it into place. So whenever you're taking it off there, you basically need to stick some tweezers or something similar to that. See how I like getting these off? So I'll take these tweezers, I'll stick them in behind one edge, and I'll just kind of roll the tweezers like so, and then I will slowly pull it until it pops this thing off here. So that's off here. Right there you go. There's your problem. Now, as far as the idler itself, this thing looks fine. I mean, there's no actual physical bearings inside of it. Little bushing right there. It's on top of this shaft. It spins in circles. This thing is run dry, so it has the inside of this. You can see it's a little bit rusty inside there. We're going to clean it up with some wire brushes, some emery cloth, lube it up, stick it back on, and it should be fine. As you can see that I have cleaned off that shaft, and I've cleaned up the inside of the pulley with a little wire brush and a dewalt drill. That's kind of self-explanatory. I'm probably going to do the exact same with each one of these rollers. I like to clean them down, spray them down with some deep grease. And something as simple as liquid wrench, white lithium grease will be just fine. You can get your little painter's brush or something like that if you don't mind getting your fingers a little bit dirty. Just take it, lube your shaft up. That way it'll prevent it from rusting. There you go. Then you can stick your pulley right back on. Make sure it's on there good. There we go. Get that shaft nice and lubed up. And then I'm going to put my retaining ring back on and start assembling. And now you can see those are all greased up. This is back together. Now, if you followed the video on the disassembly part, you should be able to reassemble it without no problems. Take your belt, you wrap it around the drum right here. You can help pick it up, hoist it in if you need to, feed it back in there, and set it back on them back two rollers. And then just got it straight in place. Get up with both hands and you make sure to slide it right around that ring. Fit exactly how it's supposed to. Set it back down on top of the fan. You should be able to see the mark from your belt where it was sitting at. Make sure it's in the similar area. I mean, personally, I like getting under there and going ahead and getting the belt in the general position it needs to be in before reassembling the faceplate here. Definitely much easier before you put the faceplate and all that sort of stuff on there to go ahead. Reach inside here while the tub's loose, and you can easily maneuver that around, get that belt exactly where you want it at. In fact, it's pretty light, so you can hold the tub and turn it at the same time. A few rotations, make sure this thing's in line, and right there you go. Here's what it looks like from this side. You can see it's all nice cleaned up, so you can see it now. And here's another shot of what it looks like. Oh, you can see exactly how it goes on here. Now, the belt itself was the hardest part, aside from changing the rollers for someone who's changing the rollers. Otherwise, the reassembly of this is basically the reverse of the disassembly. I don't want to run all the way through that. I think everything should be pretty self-explanatory from this point forward. Get it assembled here, and we're going to test it out and see if she squeals. As you can see, it's tumbling and drying and not making a squealing sound one. She's fixed. Now, if this video happened to help you out, I sure would appreciate it if you comment down below and then proceed to pop the clutch on that subscribe button. Plenty of content on this channel for you to choose from, and you can see everything that I do on this channel in action on all these other social media platforms. Until next time, I thank you for watching. Now get to doing that do-it-yourself hustle.